Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia.
I think this is this week and not the week before. Did I tell you that I have got out my family history stuff?
No, you didn't.
Oh, so it must be just this week.
Mm.
Yeah. My grandpa, Pop we called him, he wrote a family history, like he did quite a lot of research, etc., talked to family members and that, but that's a really long time ago. So between about 79 and 85, he did that and documented it all. And part of what he did was he wrote a memoir as well. So anyway, there's been because Mum had a copy and we didn't know what happened to it. Anyway, then it took us a while to be able to get another copy from other family members. But we finally got copies again, and then probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I started looking at it and thought, oh, I wouldn't mind doing this, but then, I don't know, life got in the way. I just got, well, it was just time-consuming to try and translate all of this very analogue, all done on an old manual typewriter, into digital. So I had started, but like I'd do a couple of hours and then I just put it away for like years.
Yes.
So anyway, just recently I thought, oh, let me drag that out. So it took me ages to find where I'd stashed the bits and pieces, because some of it was in a box nicely labelled family history, but it wasn't all there. So anyway, I thought, let's attack this differently in our modern age. And so I thought I'm going to start on the memoir, because it would be really nice to be able to get it all digitised and actually made into an ebook or even a printed book for family members. And then we could just do a new edition every 10 or 20 years or something if I'm around or somebody else is around and wants to. And I just thought, I'm just going to scan these pages now. How much easier is it to do this stuff? Put it straight into ChatGPT and got it to transcribe it. All done and dusted. The whole process took less than 15 minutes to get it all transcribed, like just that memoir part.
Yeah.
And
that's huge, though.
It was so good. And so then I was talking to the AI, and it's like, well, okay, I'd kind of like to start editing this. So let's say you're a really top-notch editor for publication of self-published books, and I want you to have a look at this and give me some ideas, editing ideas, etc. So we just worked through paragraph by paragraph, because it's not a real long memoir. And it's been so good just going through. And so what I'm thinking I'll do, I'm definitely open to suggestions.
Yep.
And once I've got a certain amount done, then I'll send it off. I'll get Mum to read it, as well as, my kids, etc. But I'm thinking that I'd really like to have Pop's story, the edited story at the front with a dedication and whatnot and some editor's notes, then, and also some footnotes, because it's really interesting. I'm going to have to ask Mum, like, I've got no idea. Pop was talking about these places in Port Pirie that I don't know where they were.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And our history is amazing. Like we're one of the founding families in Port Pirie.
Oh,
Pop's family.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
they
what was your...
actually had boats and barges. McDonald.
Okay,
So,
right.
Yeah. So they had boats and barges, and they widened the creek and from Port Adelaide through to Port Pirie and all sorts of different things. Like, it's pretty amazing when you start reading it. And they had a whole lot of land in Gertrude Street. Now, Gertrude,
yes.
Yeah, so you just think, oh, wow, as well as they had a whole lot of land out Port Pirie Westway as well.
Yep.
But, so it's really quite fascinating as you start working through it. But there's different places that Pop talks about that it's like, oh, well, I wonder if it's even still there. And if it's there, we could get some photos. So that's the next thing, is to try and, because part of the memoir thing that he talks about also goes back to, there there was one of the largest, not barges, really big ships, I don't know what you call them, I forget the words, that had ever come into the Port Pirie port in 1985. And one of the ministers from Adelaide actually came down to celebrate it. So I thought there's probably news articles and whatnot as well.
Oh, there would be.
Yeah, so it would be really interesting to follow some of those little rabbit holes a little bit and then have, sort of sprinkle it with some photos if I can get old ones and get permission to use them as well as, but we can do modern ones. And the other thing I was thinking that we can probably do, I haven't tried this yet, but this is something I'm thinking about. But well, if I can't get access to old photos, but we can get modern photos, I can probably put them through AI and ask them to do a representation of the different eras. What do you think this looks like? Yeah. And then we could do the family tree as well. It could be in the book. And then the last thing that would be, I'm thinking the original manuscript, like the scanned copies of the manuscript, so people can actually see the original one. Not that I've made huge changes or anything, but I have made some changes so far.
Or just language and understanding has changed enough that younger people wouldn't understand some words possibly, or the way we refer to things. The Port Pirie Library, I know, has microfiche of news articles because someone was looking at that the other day when I was using the library. So,
well, and I know when I was young, I remember there was a lady who did a lot of historical stuff in Port Pirie through National Trust too. So there is a lot of documentation that would be available. How much of that is just available for private use versus, because if you're printing a book, they'd probably class, even though it's not to make money, they would, I imagine, class that as a commercial endeavour. So,
have any of the family members gone to war in any of the wars?
Not that I know of.
Find out before Remembrance Day, because at Remembrance Day and Anzac Day, the war memorial documentation is often open for everybody for a few days, and you can download documentation. We got my grandfather's war record and none of us knew the real detail behind it, and that was amazing. And I've realised from you that I could feed that into ChatGPT and get it cleaned up.
that would be interesting. So I need to look at it more carefully to see. I don't remember, but it would be fairly unusual for men not to have gone to war.
It's funny because there is enough of a gap that there's like sections of generations that just missed out. So, but it's worth looking at because you can get that other data from the...
Well, the other thing that you can get data for now is to the ships that came over. So I've actually got the dates of when they came over. And there'd be, like, if I wanted to pay for ancestry.com and places like that, I'm sure that there'd be other people that have done some of that research already as well.
Yes. And if you do the ancestry thing, there's so many other people on there. You might connect with people that have more data that you didn't have, or
exactly. And he did it on. Now see his wife. So my pop on my mother's side. So my maternal grandfather. His wife on her side was Rivets, and I remember my Nana Rivet, and I don't know, her husband died. See, I never knew him. She was only ever just Nana. There was never a pop that I remember. So, and my understanding is that he died when she was still quite youngish. So it'd be interesting. I don't know whether that. I don't know why. I haven't. I'm sure it's there in the stuff because there's sort of, but I haven't looked at that side of the family yet. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. And look, I can just ask Mum. She'd know.
And it gets complicated. It doesn't matter whether you go down or up. You just branch out and double it each time, and more so going down in most cases. So, yeah, you have to sort of pick a line and go with that. Like we've got my mother's family, my mother and her father's family tree. And I think that's on a big piece of paper that's about 4 or 5 meters long. And it's all, it was hand done, but I've got a digital copy of it. So I'm lucky
Good.
that I got that. And
Yeah,
I think I took photos of it as well. So,
good.
yeah, because we had a big family reunion here in 2013. So, yeah.
At your
And
place?
yeah, because we sort of semi-central, but also we had the space. And yeah, who did we have still? We had a couple of relative of that, my mother's family. There was a few of them left, and there certainly isn't now. So, yeah, Mum was the last to go.
Yeah, well, I have a lot less information on my dad's side than on my mum's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
So,
absolutely nothing on my father's side because he was never interested in family, and a lot of men aren't. So, yeah.
well, because my dad died when I was only 20, I guess, I hadn't had any sort of interest in asking questions much. I mean, Mum knows a little bit of bits and
Yeah.
pieces, but my dad's dad, he was alive when I was little, but I do remember him passing away, but I was quite young. And then my nana, she had Alzheimer's before she passed away. So there was a lot of years, even though she lived a bit older, she didn't necessarily have the memory.
And sometimes we miss that opportunity to ask them, because if we asked them about their childhood, they could probably tell us. And I think we're missing an opportunity with the aged population.